As inflation roars, do we have to now be concerned with a deflationary scenario? What's up, everybody? Welcome aboard to Bubba's Bottom Line for Sunday, July the 10th. And quite a week. Interesting. Markets were interesting. They did things that unexpected, but nothing is really ever unexpected. Markets kind of do what they're going to do, and we are prepared to react to them. That is what trading, that is what investing is about. And we'll get more into markets in our market report. But it looks like we head into this, we'll call it slow motion depression. All right. As we have an administration that cares less and less about the middle class, the people who support this country. Okay, less and less about the quality of life of Americans as they continue to try and get to, as they call it, the Great Reset. You know, we can look at things a lot of ways, but you can't argue with exactly what these morons are doing today. All right, they are torturing the middle class the most because we are the ones that have the most at stake and the most to lose, and the middle class are the people that basically keep this country running. All right, you know, they support just about every program that goes on, and we've got this continued president who has these mindless energy policies that have absolutely and make no sense. Okay. The energy policy in which we are under right now is about as dumb as one can get. All right. And of course, and then he tweets or writes or talks about it. And obviously we know that it's not the president, because the president has lost his mind. Legitimately lost his mind, even though he's been an idiot for 47 years. He wouldn't have won his first election 47 years ago if he hadn't have lost his wife. They felt sorry for him when he got elected. Okay. So, but whatever it is, he is the president now. But really, is he? Because obviously, forget about any personal views you have of him as a president. It's obviously that he has no cognitive view and has Alzheimer's. Okay. Which means that the people writing for the teleprompter, the people that are dictating and telling him what to do, are trying to destroy this country bit by bit, piece by piece, barrel of oil by barrel of oil, and however else you want to look at it. Now, we can look at many different things, but you cannot dispute the ridiculous inflation, the moronic Fed, and the imbeciles that are in charge. Those cannot be disputed. And if you're happy with the way the country's run, hey, well, what can I tell you? I can't tell you not to be happy if you're happy with the policies that you're watching, and if you're happy with the power and the weakness we are now showing globally. Okay, when China and Russia and other haters of America are celebrating, that should tell you something. Okay, that should tell you that we are not headed in the right path. And you know, you can see that the Eurozone is also headed in a path of destruction. Boris Johnson is supposedly going to resign. Or maybe he has already. I don't pay much attention, but and of course the euro currency is sunk to 19-year lows. Now we've been on this story for a year already and longer, that it's going to below par. It's going below parity. Okay, and that the euro currency is probably going back to about 88 cents. Now, obviously, that affects your buying power pretty dramatically if you're in the Eurozone. They already don't have gas, okay, especially natural gas. And now we're seeing Russia put press a little bit more of their power into the gas. In fact, they're stopping a pipeline that was going to Japan and India. And because they are basically the sole supplier of natural gas in that part of the world, it becomes a problem. Now, of course, the United States, we could solve that problem in 10 minutes, right? But God forbid we would want to help out not only ourselves, but the entire world. Okay. Why would there be no reason that we'd want to grab back the control of the world? Okay. We want to continue to give the power away to the criminals, the thieves, the bullies, the thugs, and not remain the peacemaker and the people that basically keep the world in control. Okay. But it's interesting that we have a shortage of natural gas, but we have an oversupply, an excess. And that just goes back to the unwillingness to go get it, the unwillingness to drill for oil or natural gas, fracking and shale producing. We continue to want to not go after it, and we'll let these inflationary spiral of prices put people in jeopardy, destroying savings, destroying what people have worked their whole lives for because of the price we have to pay now. Because the price of oil, the price of natural gas doesn't just affect filling up your car. It affects most of the goods that you buy. Either they're made with oil in some way, shape, or form, or it takes oil to get them there. Okay. And of course, you have to heat your home or air condition your home, your barbecue, whatever it is. Most things use a fossil fuel. And again, I have no problem if they want to try to get to a green environment at some point. I am not a believer in climate change, but if they believe that that's the best way, okay, so be it. But do you want to destroy an entire generation when you're trying to find a ridiculous bullshit policy that can't be done anyways today? Okay, you're not ready, number one. Number two, you could not support the world, okay, or support the United States with enough green energy. Number three, you're destroying an entire generation. So does it make sense? And that would be the bigger question that one would have to ask themselves is, does what they're doing make sense under any circumstances? Or are we allowing the haters of America to dictate our lives going forward? Because certainly you will soon be under the thumb of China or a nation like that, okay, who wants to be the world power. Now, we've got, of course, the U.S. State Department is now offering $10 million reward for those who can talk about foreign interference in our elections. How much are they offering for the interference in elections here? Okay, I mean, how much are they offering to go after Dominion and some of those places? It's amazing how we like to continue to defer blame and put it in other places. Okay, but the artificial wealth versus GDP, again, how much wealthier today are you? Remember, we have these Federal Reserve idiots that pretend like they know what's happening, okay, and want to show you how smart they are, but who can understand what they're saying? If you've ever listened to one of their meetings, it's nothing more than a bunch of double talk, okay, and yet they continue to try to control and get so far away from what their mandates are that we continue to see these ridiculous problems that are here for no reason. And this goes back to the same question I ask almost every week. At what cost are we going to continue to destroy the American household? Okay. And, I'm so upset about, A, that we won't drill for oil, B, that we're draining our SPR, or the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, which is really in place for wartime, especially now because you can't replace it. But more than all of that, that oil is being shipped to Asia. That oil is leaving this country. So where is the benefit to the American people? It's our strategic reserve. So where is the benefit? Okay. This is what does not make logical sense. Okay. So you have to wonder why President Biden is allowing this to happen unless he's on the take. Okay. Again, I'm not accusing anybody, but why, if we're taking from our strategic reserve, why are we shipping it to Asia? Why are we shipping it to our enemies? Okay. This is the problem that we're watching. Okay. We are arming our enemies. Okay. And the people that don't give a rat's ass about the United States, that would love nothing more than to see the destruction of the United States, but yet we're arming them. Okay. And that's kind of goes to the Russian-Ukrainian war, which should have never happened. But again, when you have a weak leader, and maybe he wanted it, you have many that are calling Ukraine criminal in this whole thing, and that they're taking advantage of the United States and what we're giving them. And I don't know. I do know that there's been some funky business in the past. If you remember what President Trump went through, which really was from President Biden, who wasn't the president at the time. But we know that there's been a lot of quirky deals made. All right. And it's not just these two. This goes back many, many years of bad deals, bad bills, bad laws that are passed because there's always some piece of crap attached to the headline of what you hear. Oh, that's great. But you don't hear about all the garbage that gets swept under the rug that we end up paying for anyways. Okay. And I think that you find that, again, the rhetoric surrounding Russia, okay, Russia is charging, you want to buy grains from Russia, you got to pay in rubles. You want to buy gas from Russia, you got to pay in rubles. And they're now cutting off, okay, the natural gas from Germany. Now, what do you think Germany's going to do? Okay. Again, you have Russia in control of that part of the world in the energy business when we could, A, be benefiting from it ourselves, okay, and profiting, but helping our allies, okay, at the same time. But why would we want to do that? Why would we want to help the world and retain our power when we can become weak and become socialists and give up everything so that the haters of America, especially the squad that's right inside of our country, okay, and the people like Soros and others who want to destroy what we have and what we've earned, okay, why would we want to fix that? I mean, don't you want to give everything away? Don't you want to be taxed more? Isn't that what you're looking for? I say bullshit, and I say I'm sick of it. Fortunately, there is an election coming up, because if you're going to let this Marxist regime take over, we're in for a world of hurt. And this November is going to be a big step in changing the direction of this tanker that we're in, because the people that are there now are trying to tank the economy, and the country. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Sunday, July the 10th. And of course, we're going to step out of here for a break, and we'll be right back with our market report after the break. Bubba's Bottom Line, Sunday, July the 10th. Well, kids, hey, look, I always talk to you about the partners that I have and the brokers that I use in their response to the show. And of course, I've got many brokers. I always want to give you full disclosure. But, again, for my purposes, Capital Trading Group, for commodities and futures, I mean, they're by far the best. They do the best job. They have the best communication with our members, great service, and they do answer the phone if you have a problem and you got a call. They've got great products. They handle all my accounts. So that should tell you. And of course, they're the only ones I could authorize for letter direction. And they became our partners on the Day Trader's Dream program. So that is something that I can, if I'm willing to do that, that's pretty much respect. And of course, you can check them out at info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. That's info.capitaltradinggroup.com/Bubba. And you can see they're scrolling along the bottom on the side. And of course, then there's Trader Brokerage, which I do a lot of education for Trader. Why? Because I think they're phenomenal. Because they've got great service for those who trade equities and options. And the fact that they're $10 a month and that we can hook you up to auto trade your account, our equity portfolios at no charge, and our hedging portfolios at a licensing fee for the software. Trader charges you $10 flat no matter what. Okay, but we've got their APIs, and they're going to have cryptos pretty soon. That are going to be able to be traded with your account and used as leverage as well. Check them out. Try.trader.com/Bubba. That's try.trader.com/Bubba. And of course, don't forget about our high school program. And we're trying to rebuild this. And, obviously after the COVID thing, it's a big mess. But we want to get it back in because financial literacy is so important to those in our school system. Let's look at our leaders again. And that goes to all of them. Okay. Financial literacy is so important. Anyways, you want to help us out? Go to patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. And we're going to get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and our market report right now. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, July the 10th. And of course, markets, interesting. I don't know. I can't, the volume continues to dry up. It makes it very, very tough. The systems, the trading has been brutal. The quick spikes, either up or down, the gaps up or the gaps down, which trigger a signal and then fail, because we're really just churning in an overall longer-term downtrend in equities, for example. So it makes it a challenge. But, nobody said that trading was easy, nor standing out on the street corner handing out $100 bills. Okay. Trading is tough. Okay. And we're doing just fine. But you got to be able to go through the bad, even though you know the good is there, because it ain't good every day. All right. And the markets are struggling. But right now, the indexes, which were short across the board, last week were slightly higher. All right. They looked lower early, and then, it was a short week. And then later they popped, and, Thursday, Friday were higher. Hey, whatever it is. We had a jobs number on Friday. Okay, that was BS, but it looked good. Okay, it wasn't any good, but that's a story for another day. But again, we're still short and not concerned. I don't see any reason. I think that we're going a lot lower. I think, again, I say we're probably going to go down 50 to 70%. Okay, and of course, the dollar remains very strong. We're still long dollars, and that's not really a good thing, especially in the fraudulent world of the fiat currencies. But we're still long. Again, in the euro currency, we're still short, which we tell you is going a lot lower. Bitcoin continues to, it's kind of flattening out now, but it is around 20,000, right? So we're still short Bitcoin. Gold, silver look awful. Okay, they're melting down, kind of like the Wicked Witch, in the Wizard of Oz, which, believe it or not, for those who don't know, many believe that the Wizard of Oz was written about gold and silver. And Dorothy originally didn't wear ruby slippers. She wore silver slippers. Anyways, long and short, they look bad. When we're short. And again, I get the manipulation, I get articles, and I go, it doesn't matter. You still got to have two sides. It still takes a buyer and a seller. Bottom line, we're still short. I need to be short platinum as well, but we don't trade it. It's not liquid enough. Okay. Crude oil, which we're short, is lower, along with natural gas. Now, I think these are just temporary moves. Again, this is part of the super high inflation, which slows the economy, which can create the potential depression that we're going to end up seeing here. We're already in a recession. The economists don't want to admit it, but back-to-back quarters of negative GDP is the official definition of a recession. So, again, do you want to argue with the idiots that don't want to tell the truth and want to try to sugarcoat everything? Okay. And of course, copper is getting hammered, which not a surprise. We're still short copper. And the grain markets had a rough week. Now they had a nice finish, but a rough week. Now, I think this is a deflationary scenario. This is a concerning part. Now, we're short, but I think they're going a lot higher. But it's concerning as to the way we're trading right now because of the overall action. And that leads to me to believe that we could be looking at a deflationary scenario. And you may think that deflation is a good thing, but it's really not. Okay, because if we get lack of demand and lower pricing, it kills the producer on the other side as well. Okay, the world works best on slow-moving inflation. Okay, not hyper, not what we've just watched, but on natural growth inflation. Bonds and notes, which we reversed during the week. I don't know. I hate them. I hate being long them. I think we're going a lot lower. I'm long, okay? I always give you full disclosure. I hate them, though. I give you that disclosure, too, okay? I think interest rates are going much higher, but I can't fight the trends. The meats, the protein complex, I think you're looking at markets that are all about fairly priced. Now, we're long cattle and short hogs, but I think the complex itself is pretty much fairly priced. And I think if there's a big shock and a big surprise, I think it's lower, not higher, okay? And not that I want to be short. I'd really rather be observing, okay? And even though we're short grains, I'd like to be long them at some point. But again, I am what I am. The positions are what I give you because that's the way life goes, okay? And, of course, we saw in the softs, we saw a big beatdown in cotton last week. I had a big rally at the end of the week. But it got crushed. It's down like 40%. Okay. And that's another commodity. Again, these soft commodities are getting crushed as well because of the inflationary times and because of the potential deflation and what's going on in this country. Coffee was lower, we're short. Sugar was lower, we're short. Cocoa was lower, we're short. And OJ, pretty flat in coffee. We're short them all right now. Okay, all the softs. And again, not that I want to remain short them forever, but again, I can only play the market that's in front of me. Okay, that's what we have to remember. So bottom line is it's really quiet. The concern here is the lack of trade. The concern here is the lack of volume. And that would be my bigger concern of anything. Okay. In the meantime, we'll see what happens. Again, we're going to be prepared. And when we do get busy again, or when we do get some real action, we're going to be ready. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, July the 10th. We're going to step out of here for our final break and be back with, of course, my weekly commentary. But we'll be right back. Bubba's Bottom Line, Sunday, July the 10th. Well, kids, again, I'm not going to go through all the sponsors, but I will tell you about Capital Trading Group, okay? And you can see their information, side or bottom. Trader Brokerage, and of course our high school program. And in a couple of weeks, we'll be doing a very exciting webinar with some new exciting things that will be coming from Bubba Trading. And I'm excited about it, but I can't tell you yet. In the meantime, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, July 10th. Let's get back to my commentary and, of course, Bubba's Bottom Line. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. It is Sunday, July the 10th. And, of course, We have my commentary as I do every week. And, obviously, if you're paying attention and you read the papers or you see the news, Monday, which was July 4th, was a very tragic day in my neighborhood, within miles of my house, within 3 miles of my house to be exact. And of course, we had that sick shooter, who shot on, I think in the 30s or the high 20s of injuries, killing 7 people. In a premeditated, planned killing for whatever reason. This idiot was a young kid, 22 years old, with all kinds of crazy things going on. In fact, his father had once run for mayor of the city that he was shooting at. But of course, that brought out immediately not the concern of those that were injured, but the gun control. And look, I'm a big believer in the Second Amendment. And, the criminals don't know from the laws of gun control. This is the slippage. This is where we get confused. If you force people to register and to go through protocol to get their guns legally, then you have track and you know what's going on. But of course, we all know that the criminals are always going to get the guns. The criminals, just look at the ones in Washington. Look what they do. The criminals are going to get the guns. Just like the criminals have always been ahead of everybody in every walk of life, from the technologies department now to back in the roaring 20s. So you can talk your gun control all you want. The Second Amendment is there for a reason, and certainly I own a gun. Why? Because suddenly, at 65 years old, I had to figure out that I didn't want to be left in the lurch if some nut came to my house. And I had no desire ever to own a gun. But to me, gun control is stupid, because all you're going to do is take the guns away from the people who have them legally and let the people who have them illegally. And how are you going to stop somebody then? So please, let's not every time there's a tragic shooting talk about gun control, because criminals are getting the guns no matter what. This idiot would have got the gun, although he got these legally, with his father's help, which doesn't make sense. But hey, they were legally obtained, and the tragedy of the shooting was terrible. However, we have to remember that the criminals will get ahead of us, and if we have better control of our controlling bodies, and if they did a better job, we wouldn't be talking about things like gun control. This is Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. It is Sunday, and I bid you all a great weekend and enjoy. Lots going on, and again, we'll see what happens with markets, but we'll see you tomorrow with the Bubba's Daily Update. In the meantime, have a great weekend, everybody. Bubba's Bottom Line, Sunday, July the 10th.